そしてジェシカちゃんを襲った犯人、あるいはその一味の一人を特定できたわ。
Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry episode 2, and we are going to begin pointing fingers, which is nuts because, at least from our perspective, we know it's Beatrice. Beatrice herself is setting herself up to be the culprit here, but that wouldn't work out, right? We need somebody else to be the culprit. Battler doesn't want to accuse any of his family members, but what else really works here if Beatrice isn't supposed to exist, right? So, who is Rosa going to suspect here? Who are we going to point our fingers at this time around? Because last time it was mostly just a back and forth between Ava and Natsuhi, but both of those individuals aren't around this time around. And I know that the servants also got a lot of flack near the end of episode 1. And I think that's going to happen here. I think she's going to point her finger at Goda because he kind of, left the two of them, Kanun and Jessica, alone. So, honestly, if Goda was the killer, it would kind of make sense for him to, I guess be called the culprit here, or to have some suspicion, because he quite literally is running with the story of, oh yeah, they wanted to be left alone or whatever, or Kanun had it, covered or whatever. Yeah, you could have just killed them and walked off, right? Rosa, what do you have in store for us?
なんだって。それは誰だよ。まさか、ローザおばさんは、カノン君のことを言ってるんじゃないでしょうね。
We don't know where Kanun is right now because Beatrice, snapped him out of existence. So not only did she kill him, but she also Thanos snapped him.
カノン君がどうしてですか？この部屋は施錠されていたわ。
That is also another situation here.
そしてこの部屋に施錠できる鍵は、そしてマスターキーを持っていた人物は5人しかいない。
So I'm trying to recall from the previous video, which I was admittedly really tired whenever I was recording that. Feel a lot better right now in this recording session. But did they verify, or was there clarification of some sort from Genji or whoever, that Jessica's door could be unlocked with the master key? I'm assuming yes. And I do recall, because we had some red text pop up, Beatrice stated that the master keys are the ones that are held by the servants. There are no extras.
そんな、私ではありませんよ、私では。そんなことできません。
熊沢さんは朝が遅かった。私たちが礼拝堂から客間に戻ってきて、そこで会ったわけだけど、それまでの間、あなたがどこで何をしていたかは証明不能。
And so the servants get thrown under the table again.
私たちを伺っていて、本当は2人を殺して、カノン君の死体を隠して、それで何食わぬ顔で戻ってきたんじゃないのかしら。
Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking. The thing is, that would probably be the most plausible, kind of, but really the weird variable is Kanon's body. Where is Kanon? We know he's dead, and from our perspective that we got, he's been, snapped out of this realm, so where is he?
そんなことはありません。このゴーダ、誓ってそのようなことはいたしません。
私たちでもありません。私たちは親方様のご命令で。
I want to say that these two are safe.
ええ、あなたと源氏さんについてだけは大丈夫よ。お父様から聞いた話で、それは裏付けられてる。2人はお父様の部屋でずっと筆行と立ち会いをしていた。
Okay, that's right. So
お父様と
she
私は
got the
保証する
gun
わ。
from his study. They went there, so yeah, I mean, okay, no. That makes sense for things to kind of be cleared with their alibis.
ありがとうございます。
こうなれば、郷田さんと熊沢さんのどちらかが怪しいという論法になると思うの。
Oh, that's so
私も
messed up,
この部屋
man.
に入った最初はそう思った。でもね、おかしいと思ったの。ジェシカちゃんの遺体の様子を見て、みんなはおかしいと思わない？
おかしいと言われますと。
ジェシカちゃ
Oh,
ん
we're
は
seeing,
背中
we're
を
gonna
刺
see
され
this shit
て、
again. Honestly, I didn't censor it last time. I'm not censoring it here. I think it does some pretty good censoring itself with the shadowing, so we're okay. Maybe, probably not.
ほら、私たちは殺される直前のジェシカちゃんの様子をよく知ってる。
Poor Kanun.
両親の無残な遺体を見て、ジェシカちゃんはかなりパニックを起こしてたわ。
I mean, this is also another plausible,
その
like,
後に冷静を取り戻し、
very
ひどく落ち込んだだろう
believable way of going about this is like, okay, Kanun said to Goda that he'll watch over Jessica while she's in this
そんなジェシ
very,
カちゃんが
you know,
一人で部屋に
weakened
閉じ
state
こも
here,
っ
as
たという
Rose is
シーン
pointing
が
out.
とても理解できるの。そして
With Goda
こ
out
の
of
後
the
の
picture, I
経緯
mean,
はゴーダさんの話とも一致す
Kanun
る。
already has Jessica's trust.
一人にしてくれと言ったジェシカちゃん、そして年も近く思春期の関係もあったかもしれないカノン君が自分に任せてほしいと言った気持ち、本当によくわかるの。そしてだからこそカノン君をジェシカちゃんは部屋に迎え入れたと思うの。
Yes, this somewhat happened.
でも幸田さんや熊沢さんだったらどうかしら。部屋に入れてもらえたかしら。
私はお嬢様に信頼を得ていたと信じています。ではありますが、その
なら幸田さんもやはり容疑者の一人ね。
Yeah, I don't really know why he continued speaking there.
幸田さんは多分ジェシカちゃんには好かれてないと思ってたから、ナーバスなジェシカちゃんは部屋に入れなかったと思う。だから犯人ではありえないって思ったんだけど。
いえ、残念ながらお嬢様にはお認めいただけていなかったかもしれません。熊沢さんはどうですか？
Yeah, I would say that Kumasawa and Jessica are pretty, not necessarily tight, but Kumasawa's been here, or off and on here, for such a long time.
私どもね、女組は年が離れすぎていて、お嬢様も私たちに心は開かなかったでしょうとも。ねえ、ゴーダさん。
そうです。私たちではとても心を開かなかったでしょう。長身のお嬢様が私たちを部屋に入れてくれたわけなどありません。
Goda-san and Kumasawa-bachan each rubbed their hands together, affirming each other with forced smiles on their faces. It was a truly unpleasant rondo.
昇進のジェシカちゃんが部屋に入ることを許した人物、無防備な背中を許した人物、そしてその人物はマスターキーを持っていた。
It still kind of points to Kanun, but we know he's dead.
それらが示すのは一人、カノン君しかありえないのよ。
待ってください。カノン君は決してそんなことは。
あら、じゃあ他に誰が？やっぱり幸田さんか熊沢さんが怪しいの？シャノンちゃんはどっちが疑わしいと思う？
Nah, she can't do that. I mean, come on. There's no way she can ever point her, like, she can never suspect any of her coworkers like that. Shanun just doesn't have that in her.
私ではありませんよ、シャノンさん。私ではありませんとも。
もちろん私でもありません。お嬢様と仲が良かったのはカノンさんと、あとシャノンさんじゃありませんか。
ああ、そうだったわね。シャノンちゃんならジェシカちゃんも部屋に入れてくれるかもしれない。
But you know that Shanun wasn't here. She was up at Kinzo's study.
でもあなたはお父様のところにいたはず。
Exactly.
でも実はあなたが犯人なの。
No, you dumb bitch. God
シャ
damn.
ノンが犯人のわけはない。おじい様のところで大切な用事をしていたとさっき言ったはず。
分かってる。シャノンちゃんとゲンジさんは犯人じゃない。ずっと一緒にいたとお父様も認めてる。
Then why bringing up? Why are you bringing this up then? Why are you trying to suspect her?
さて、みんなはどう考えるかしら。
Damn. Never fucking mind. Bring Natsuhi back to be the one holding the gun. Rosa kind of sucks at this. After being told that, no one could respond. Even if someone did manage to argue back, they'd then have to offer the name of a different suspect. And no matter who that suspect was, it would have to be someone right here. No one can do something like that. Aunt Rosa glanced at everyone in turn, fingering the gun like it was a toy. Could have used some different language there, but she seems so different from the kind Aunt Rosa I knew. No, it's probably because I'm not fully aware of danger, or of the danger we're in. Maybe Aunt Rosa, excuse me, I almost said Natsuhi. Her attitude would seem natural if I could truly sense the peril surrounding us.
意見はないよね。じゃあ私の意見を言うわ。カノン君が死体なき犠牲者である可能性はもちろん否定できない。
Why do we have this sound effect playing?
でも、死体が見つからない限り、カノン君が容疑者である可能性も全く否定できないわ。ひょっとすると、カノン君は犯人に襲われてどこかに監禁されていた。
Yeah, as a corpse, maybe.
というような口実で、ひょっこりと現れるかもしれない。でも用心して、多分おそらく。カノン君がジェシカちゃんを殺した。
I mean, in a weird way, you might be able to argue that based on what we saw go down. Jessica kind of sacrificed herself for Kanun. In some really twisted way, you could probably say, therefore, he killed her. But I'm not going to go and say that. I'd feel stupid saying that.
僕もシャノンに同じだよ。カノン君が犯人だと決めつけることには反対だ。
I kind of want to side with Battler in like accusing any of the family members, but the thing is, or family members plus the servants, but the thing is, at the end of the day, if there's going to be, you know, an actual like different thing going on here, kind of like what we saw with episode 1, that there was no magic bullshit, that this was all in the sense of reality, well, how the fuck are we supposed to explain that? Who do we actually, you know, truly accuse at the end of the day?
怪しい方を教えて。
私たちではありません。
カノン君じゃなくてこの扉を施錠できるのは誰なの？シャノンちゃん？ジョージ君？ねえ、ねえねえねえ。
Aunt Rosa closed in on Shanun-chan and George Aniki, laughing unpleasantly. Of course, they couldn't say anything back. They wanted to believe in Kanun-kun. But if they did, they'd have to suspect the other servants. The simplest culprit was the mystery guest Beatrice. But she was nothing more than a guest and didn't have a master key. So if Beatrice is the culprit despite lacking a master key, then do we have to accept the argument that she really is a witch who locked the door with the power of magic? Now, yeah, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, because a simple solution here is that Beatrice herself took the master key from Kanun right before, you know, he got whisked away into another realm. And, well, there we go. Not necessarily a closed room situation here, is it? Why do you have to come in with that freaky ass face?
19人目の謎の来客のせいにすればよいではないか。そうすれば人間どもの醜い押し付け合いを
Yeah, wait a minute. We actually don't want to do that, do we? We don't want to say that it was Beatrice in any sort of way because she's not even supposed to be here.
つまりなんだよ。犯人は19人目の来客。ベアトリーチェ。こいつは魔女だから。マスターキーがなくても魔法で施錠できたと。そいつを認めろってのかよ。ふざけるな。ふざけるな、ふざけるな。
Yeah, we can't do it, man. We can't.
前回のゲームでな、死者に気遣う必要などあるまい。そしてこの場にいる誰も疑わずに済む。
But it's still suspecting somebody that we're close with. I don't think we can do that. Okay, here's an idea. I don't know what direction Battler's going to argue in here, if it's going to be similar to what we saw a couple of videos ago with the chapel, but what if the door was actually already locked? What if this door, compared to the old-ass chapel door, you can actually lock it while it's open, and then close it, and then it's actually a sealed door, fully closed and locked, no entry into the room? Could it maybe be that? You know, Jessica on her way in, she unlocked and then relocked the door while it was open? So then, yeah, we don't really have to... I mean, it doesn't really tell us who the culprit was, but we can at least explain why the door was locked.
私は誰も疑いたくはありません。しかし、 疑わしきは黒ということもあるにはあります。とにかく用心するに越したことはないでしょうな。
南條先生、それはどういう意味ですか？
勘違いしないでください。私はカノンさんを犯人だと決めつけたいわけじゃない。しかし事情がわかるまでカノンさんが犯人の可能性もあると。
Technically, there's a possibility that, anybody here in this room is the culprit.
そう思っておいた
It's all
方が
like a
安全だというの
percentage-based
です
thing on what we know and what we think we know, but it's mostly the latter. What everybody thinks they know.
そうですわね。用心はしてしすぎることはありませんもの。
The general consensus certainly didn't seem to find fault with Nanjo for what he said. True, no one actually thought Kanon was the culprit. But unless they suspected him, they'd have to suspect one of the servants here. We didn't want to do that. We didn't want to suspect. We didn't want to be suspected.
それで正解よ。警戒してしすぎるということはない。それについて異論はないわね。いい？この殺人事件にはお父様の黄金伝説が関わっている可能性がとても高い。だとすれば数百億円の莫大な黄金を独り占めしようと企む何者かの犯行に違いない。それだけのお金が手に入ればどこの国でも生涯遊んで暮らせるわ。そのためなら私たちを皆殺しにすることだってあるかもしれない。
Hey, money talks. Money is a very scary thing.
マスターキーを持っていないという理由でジェシカちゃん殺しについてだけは19人目の来客ベアトリーチェを容疑者から外した。
Interesting. Removing her from suspicion because she didn't have a master key. When it's very possible that Kanun could have been killed first, then his body, hidden away or whatever, his key taken, and then she went in here and, did the same thing, killed Jessica. But again, it does lead back to the idea of somebody trustworthy being allowed into the room. Sure, the room could have been locked or whatever, and Jessica could have just been in a very defenseless position. I don't know. This is kind of a difficult one, actually. It's more than just entering and, method of entering, whether it's through Jessica's trust or unlocking the door, and then, whoever locked the door. That's a very interesting situation that we have here. It's better to just tie this all to one person. That one person who has the trust and has the key.
何しろ莫大な黄金ですもの。犯人は複数人いる可能性だって否定できない。今この瞬間、この中に犯人に買収されている人間が混じっているかもしれない。
As Aunt Rosa yelled, she looked all around, her gun still raised. Don't believe anyone, suspect the person next to you, that's what she was saying. But no one wanted to suspect. They didn't want to suspect anyone here. That weakness in their hearts demanded an answer from those not present.
容疑者でないと信じることができるのは2つしかない。自分自身と、そして死体になったものだけよ。それはカノン君も同じ。死体が見つからない限り、彼はジェシカちゃん殺しの最有力容疑者なのよ。だから用心して、もし生きてたとしても、何かの理由を取り繕っても、絶対に信用しちゃダメよ。いいわね。
Well, again, he is dead. We're not going to come across him, I'm pretty sure. No one gave an answer of their own initiative. However, those who met Aunt Rosa's eyes had to nod their heads. I'm so used to saying Aunt Natsuhi. Episode 1 is just like, it's seared into my freaking mind. Humans are beings who live by molding themselves to fit society. In other words, from the time they're born, trusting each other is genetically imprinted on them. It's unpleasant to go against that. They never want to suspect someone, but if they're forced to suspect someone, they find it safest to choose someone who isn't present at that moment. For the purpose of safety and nothing more, they half-heartedly chose Kanun to be the sacrifice. And case closed, right? Easy as that. Well, that's ridiculous. I definitely don't want to believe that Kanun-kun is the culprit. I had heard it from George Aniki just now, but not only were those two close in age, they also had that kind of adolescent relationship Aunt Rosa had mentioned. It may be a little late now, but yes, they really did have that kind of air about them. After seeing her parents' tragic corpses, Jessica, bearing deep wounds in her heart, would only have trusted Kanun-kun. It was very easy to imagine, and that's why I don't like it. Kanun-kun was the only one she trusted, so she wouldn't have let anyone but Kanun-kun in. So Kanun-kun was the only one who could have killed Jessica? I just can't accept that kind of argument. I don't want to accept it either. But the huge problem here, and Higurashi was just a fucking taste test for all the crazy shit that's happening here, but the idea of perspective is so huge, and that's our problem here, because it doesn't matter who the fuck we follow, we are stuck with the perspective that Beatrice is giving us. We're not allowed to have the perspective of what reality may be, as Battler is continuously arguing for. So what we saw was that crazy, bulky and strong and somewhat sexy goat go in and fight Kanun with like D-swords or whatever. It's so hard to try and explain what the hell just happened and therefore try to figure out what's really going on overall in this story. I'm lost.
カノン君がもし現れても油断しないで。カノン君の無実を証明できない限り、私たちはジェシカちゃん殺しの犯人をカノン君だと仮定します。
That was Aunt Rose's claim. By using the vague word assume, she managed to convince everyone in the end. Everyone nodded weakly, and with the excuse that they were just assuming it for the time being, they concluded that Kanun was the culprit who had killed Jessica. For now. I wonder what the dead Jessica and Kanun would think if they could hear this exchange. Oh, they'd probably feel like shit, honestly. Jessica especially. Oh, hello. Jessica was crying. She was crying into the chest of the person who had put his life on the line to fight for her, Kanun. It was frustrating. So frustrating that it felt like her chest would explode. She grieved and resented how far the dignity of the dead had been trampled.
あいつらなんでカノン君のことを犯人扱いするんだよ。死体がないからです。死体がないとなんで犯人扱いなんだよ。カノン君は私のために命がけで戦ってくれたんだぜ。
But no one knows that. No one can actually see that. There's no evidence of it.
あの魔女に戯れに死体を消されて、それで犯人はカノン君だなんて。ひどいぜ。ひどすぎる。いいんです。結局守りきれなかったけれど、最後にお嬢様のお役に立てたのですから。それをどうしてみんな分かってくれないんだよ。やめろローザおばさん。そんなめちゃくちゃな推理でカノン君を犯人だなんて決めつけるな。
Well, I'm sure something else will pop up a little later on that kind of like, you know, changes her mind, proves otherwise.
用心しようと。そんなの耐えられないよ。いいんです。お嬢様だけは真実を知っています。私だけが知ってたって意味
I
が
mean,
ないんだよ。
eventually everybody will know the truth.
死んで分かった。真実ってのは生きてる人
Hopefully.
間のものだ。
Whatever the truth even means
真実
anymore,
を
right?
守らなかったら死者は報われない。何のためにカノン君が命を懸けたのか分かんなくなっちゃう。
Hello, Beatrice.
実に愉快な見物よ。死者の嘆きほど甘い蜜も珍しい。嘆け嘆け。そなたがいくら嘆こうとも、死者の声は決して聖者には届かぬ。
畜生。
This is such an interesting sight.
誰でもいい。そのままで終わりにしないで。行かないで。行かないで。
Damn, that is kind of painful, actually. Damn. Rosa announced that this room would be sealed until the police came. The rest didn't want to suspect each other, so they happily accepted that. For now, they accepted that Kanun was the culprit. For now. Without even imagining how much disgrace that gave to the dead, they accepted it.
お嬢様、もういいんです。ありがとう。行くなよみんな。故障だよ。戻って
It's like a video game where, like,
扱いのままにしないで
you understand what's really going on, and you can communicate with the other players who have also died in a way where it's like,
届かぬわ
God damn it, Beatrice, you fucking killed my train of thought. It's like you're playing a game, you're trying to figure something out, like a mystery or something like that. I was thinking phasmophobia. You know, if you die, you can't communicate with your friends anymore. But if another person dies, you can communicate with them and be like, oh yeah, this is what's going on and all that. Eventually, the truth will kind of come out. Everybody will eventually know that Kanun wasn't the culprit. Or was he?
笑わせるぞお前のその顔届くと思ってるだろ届かないんだよジェシカ
Again, the voice actress behind Beatrice must have had some field days with that laughter, honestly.
全然ダメだな。
Hello, Battler.
え、バトラ君、何か言った？
Yeah, this is in-story Battler. What has he got going on?
ダメだ。全然ダメだな。
Just as everyone was about to leave the room, Battler stood alone with his back to them, still looking down at Jessica's corpse.
全然ダメって、どういうこと？何か異論でもあるの？
警戒しようって話にだけは賛成する。だが、カノン君が犯人ってことにしようって話は。
Yeah, stand your
悪いが拒
ground.
否させてもらう。
Speak your shit.
ほうここで食いついてくるとはカノンが犯人ではなくしかもわらわの仕業でもないならばこのジェシカの部屋の密室をどう説明する？
実を言うと、それについてはお手上げだ。まったく。俺はどうして全然ダメだなんて
It's
言
your
っちまったんだ
regular
ね。
phrase. Like, you actually say that pretty often whenever there's like big story moments. We have no idea what's going on.
自分の言動には責任を持たねえとな。理論武装ゼロの都市空間だがな、俺はこれ以上指を加えてないぜ。
バトラさん。
Yeah, what does Battler have to say here?
カノン君が犯人ではないという証拠でもあるのかい？
Oh, you seem hopeful, George. The expression that rose to those two faces was definitely one of anticipation. They didn't want to believe that Kanun was the culprit. They really believed in Kanun. So they were expectant because they wanted to strengthen their belief in him even more.
なら、バトラ君は他の使用人の誰を疑うの？郷田さん？それとも熊沢さん？
Neither.
よせよ、ローザおばさん。俺は熊沢のばあちゃんという人をよく知ってる。たまに仕事をサボってたりするが、いつだって人を楽しくさせようとする人だ。たとえ金に目がくらんだとしても、殺しだけはする人じゃねえ。
Also, I really don't think she's even capable. Like, I don't mean that as an insult to her, because Kumasawa, you know, bless her heart and everything. Yeah, she just is not fucking capable of that. Like, she's not capable of committing any sort of serious crime like that. She can't take another's life, I feel.
ゴーダさんとは俺は昨日会ったばかりだ。
Goda, I'm not sure about. You know, like, the thing is that he's very selfish. He really is.
正直、
And that
こ
kind
の
of
人の
works
ことは
against
まだ
him.
よく理解していない。カノン君が犯人だということは断じてありえない。
Okay, different
犯人が
approach.
カノンではないということを立証できるというのだなどうやって？
実に簡単なことさ。危うく見落とすところだったぜ。ベアト。副賞要求。言えるもんなら言ってみろ。
Oh, yeah, here we
カノン君はマスターキーを
go.
持っていた。
ほう
カノン君がマスターキーを持っていない？どうしてそんなことがわかるの？
さっき俺はゴーダさんに話を聞いた。カノン君と別れる直前、ジェシカが貴賓室に殴り込みに行ったってあたりの話だ。ゴーダさん、あんたはちゃんと覚えてたよ。あんたはカノン君の名誉を守った。
Wait, what happened? I don't remember.
私がですか？
同じ話は僕も聞いてたよ。 でも僕にはよくわからなかった。説明してくれるかい？
Yeah,
バ
wait,
トラ君。
wait, yeah, what's going on here? I feel like I'm missing something.
そうさ、ジェシカは貴賓室の鍵を開けるとき、カノン君に鍵を借りたが返さなかっ
Oh, wait, really? She did?
た。だからカノン君はマスターキーを持っ
Oh,
ていな
you
いんだ。
know what? You're right. Because the three of them actually went there. Jessica was pissed off and very emotional, as we, all saw. But then Kanun, like, he came up, looking listless as always, and said, move aside, I got it, let's go, and unlocked the door. Okay. That did happen. I am remembering that correctly, right?
それはどうかな。確かにゴーダの記憶上ではマスターキーをカノンに返してはいない。しかしゴーダが見ていないところで返したかもしれない。
Okay.
それが絶対になかったと。
Then
ど
say
う証明する？
say the sentence Jessica gave the master key back to Kanun.
カノンの死体
That's
の
all
ポ
we
ケ
need
ッ
to
トを
know,
調べ
right?
れば、それは立証できるだろうが、それはできない。証明は不可能だ。
全然ダメだな。実に簡単なことじゃねえか。
Yeah, she looked a little unsure there, didn't she?
それじゃあカノン君は鍵を持ってなかったというの？
ああ。そしてその証拠はジェシカを調べればわかるはずだ。ジェシカのポケットにカノン君のマスターキーが入ってるはず。
Here we go.
南條先生、調べてくれるか？
I was gonna say, who's gonna be doing the checking? I swear, this is the fucking game theory song. It sounds so like it. Najo dashed up to Jessica and searched in her jacket pocket. Everyone was expectant. And the result? Please, be there.
ありましたぞ。
Alright, there we go.
これですかな。
はい、それがマスターキーです。間違いありません。
At Genji's statement, there was a small ooh of joyful voices.
それがカノン君のマスターキーだ。もう一度言うぜ。カノン君はマスターキーを持っていない。だから施錠できたわけがないんだ。
確かにそのようね。
We can make the assumption that he was here with Jessica based on what Goda, was basically telling everybody, that Kanun would take care of Jessica. Now, it's the other part of it. Who the fuck locked the door?
でもカノン君がジェシカちゃんに会った最後の人物なのよ。疑わしいことに変わりはないわ。
予想ぜ。
え？
人間ってのは本来信じ合う生き物のはずだ。なのに
It's how we live, you know?
世知辛い世
It's how we go
の中
about
を生きるため
living.
にそれができない限り絶対に憶測で人を黒だなんて言うんじゃねえ。
My man Battler be speaking facts, and I respect it.
疑わしきは黒は軽率でした。謝ります。
バトラ様。
見事な推理だよ、バトラ君。ゴーダさんもありがとう。あなたが覚えていてくれたからカノン君の疑いが晴らせました。
いや
Yeah, I wonder why Goda's a little off put by that. Clap, clap, clap. It was the crisp sound of the witch applauding, excuse me.
お見事お見事。なかなかやるではないか。
やべえな。まんまと餌ごまに引っかかっちまったか。
そなたは見事。カノンにだけはこの部屋の扉を施錠できなかったことを証明した。
But there is the other part of it now.
使用
Who
人は
did?
全員マスターキーを持つはず。それが根拠となり、カノンが犯人扱いとなっていたのだから、少なくともその疑いは見事に晴らせたな。
となると、ジェシカを殺した犯人はどうやって扉を施錠したのか。そういう問題になっちまうわけだな。まんまと思い通りの展開に引き込まれちまったぜ。
かかったな。
Yeah, a little bit.
しかもそなたは他の使用人たちを誰も疑わないなどと大それたことを言ってしまった。さーてどう言い繕うのか見ものよ。
うるせえぜ。 早速始めるぞ。どうせがっつり否定されちまうんだろうが、先にこの部屋が密室であることの定義を確認させてもらうぜ。
Give me some red sentences.
よかろう。まず隠し扉の類は一切ない。
Okay, so this is just a regular bedroom then.
出入りはこの扉からだけだ。
Okay, again, regular bedroom.
扉の施錠はジェシカの鍵が1本と使用人たちが1本ずつ持つマスターキーのみ。
Okay, so that also completely verified, but I was unsure if we got clarification last time that the master key for sure and also Jessica's key are the only keys allowed with this door specifically.
2階ではあるが窓から出入りすることも可能だろう。しかし窓は内側から施錠されている。
Locked from the inside, huh?
いきなりチェス盤をひっくり返させてもらうぜ。多分扉がどうこう施錠がどうこうって論法から入るのはお前の手のひらから出ない。
好きにするがよい。さてさて何を復唱すればよいのやら。
復唱要求。カノン君はこの部屋で殺された。
Okay, yeah, this is a big one actually.
カノンはこの部屋で殺された。
Okay, and this also just gave us the chime, or the little sound effect. Not really a chime, was it? Whoa. His entire fucking, like, sprite is just gone. It's just blacked. He really just isn't here. There is no corpse, but he is dead. The witch declared it in red, so even without a corpse, his death is incontrovertible. All right. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 left. And 5 more deaths have to happen, right? Because we're at 8 deaths now. 5 more to get to the 13. Actually, minus 1 from the total count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more people are alive. I was like, wait, we should be with 5 left at the end. So 10 people plus Beatrice. 5 more people need to die.
死体はわらわが魔法で消したがね。
Thing that's actually kind of interesting is that, okay, he's been killed in this room, right? By whoever. Doesn't matter who. But if we want to be in the realm of realism, we need to consider maybe he was moved out of this room after he died, but blood trails. Because if you kill somebody in the same way that you killed Jessica, which I'm pretty sure that's what it was, there's going to be blood.
続けて復唱要求。カノン君の死体はこの部屋にある。
Here we go.
拒否する。
Yep, of course.
復唱はできぬ。なぜなら死体はわらわが魔法で消したからだ。
Of course. I mean, just straight up. And she will say in red that his corpse is not in this room, though.
そりゃ言わねえよな。そこにどうせ秘密があるに決まってるんだ。くそ。謎の論点はどこなんだ。
Come on, Battler, blow me away like you did last time. That shit was awesome.
施錠された室内にいる2人をどうやって殺したかなのか。それとも2人を殺しどうやって脱出したかなのか。悔しいが外堀から埋めてくしかないぜ。復唱要求。最後の施錠はマスターキーによるものである。
これも拒否する。
Oh, okay. Which means that there's a possibility that this door... Wait, this door being locked with a different key?
その拒否ってやつがどうも曖昧だな。
Yeah, it's not really helping us here.
復唱不能だから拒否なのか。本当は復唱できるのにわざと拒否してるのかがわからね
え。礼拝堂の鍵の時はそなたにすっかり逆手に取られてしまった。
Yeah, she's gonna be a whole lot more cautious going
我らが有利
forward.
なうちはわざわざリスクのある赤を使って発言する必要がない。ただそれだけのことよ。
We need her to say things. We need to get her to say things that she thinks she can get away with saying that we won't benefit from, but in reality we would benefit from it.
そうなんだよな。本来赤ってのは俺の陳説をあんたが封じるときに使うもんだったんだよな。
わらわが有利になるように使うのは当然のこと。上げ足を取られるリスクが分かっている以上無駄には使わぬ。
Honestly, that is pretty smart.
さて次はどういう手で来る？ゴーダや熊沢を疑う手がおそらく一番使いやすいぞ。
くそ、 誘導されているようでムカつくぜ。しばらく黙ってろ。考える。
もちろんこの扉は礼拝堂の時と同じだ。
Is it now?
施錠時にはいかなる方法をもってしても
Okay,
出入りは
but-
できぬ。
Okay, so does that also state, or does that mean that if the door is locked, that means even if it's open, like you can only lock it if it's actually a shut door? Because that's something I want to verify. With a lot of doors nowadays, I'm pretty sure you could lock it while it's open, and then as you close it, it'll actually stay closed because the locking mechanism will just like slide itself through or whatever. Sorry guys, I don't know fucking locks, but yeah, and then it's like that. It's like a locked door. It's as if you locked it while it was shut instead of open. That's something I want to verify. The chapel I can understand being a little different.
さらに言うと部屋の外から鍵を使わずに施錠するようなからくりも通用せぬぞ。
No trick could have the effect of locking the door without a... Okay, so that's basically saying it wasn't like, you know, nobody went in with like the fucking like, with the supplies, like trying to pick the lock and everything, but the reverse of it, trying to engage the lock through like sticking some stuff into the door.
頼まれてねえ時にばかり赤を乱発しやがって。
But this could help in trying to narrow down some ideas. This is a tough one. Time to step back to square one. For now, I've just got to think. I'll lay out everything I know. First, there are two victims. Jessica and Kanun-kun. Kanun-kun's corpse isn't here, but Beatrice admitted in red that Kanun-kun was killed. In this room for sure. So even without a corpse, he's included as a victim. There are a few questionable points, and depending on which I focus on, my line of thought changes a lot. First, after the culprit committed murder in this room, how did they lock it? If we assume the culprit's someone with a master key, it's extremely simple, but I would like to avoid that if I can, because I'd have to suspect Goto-san or Kumasawa-san or maybe even Shannon-chan and Genji-san. Here, I noticed something. I was contradicting myself. I was strangling my own neck. What do we got? I want to deny Beatrice no matter what. I want to erase the existence of that brutal, fickle, ridiculous witch. So I have to explain everything with humans, not magic. But that also means suspecting some human. I don't want to suspect anyone. Of course, if there's some clear proof, I'll have to believe that the person in question is the culprit, but until that happens, I don't want to suspect people. Am I just naive? Yes, actually you are. Somebody has to be the culprit here for this to work in the realm of, you know, realistic ideas and non-fiction. But if you refuse to believe that another family member or servant, you know, is the culprit, we're kind of putting ourselves in a very difficult situation. Am I just a kid who doesn't want to, you know, have my feelings betrayed when those feelings tell me that this person at least could never commit murder? I want to deny that a witch did it, but I also want to deny that a human did it. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I don't even know what I'm thinking right now.
そもそもそなたとわらわのゲームはわらわの存在を否定できるかどうかだけがそれだけでもそなたに不利なゲームなのにそなたは勝手に勝利条件を増やし
It's just as she says. If I just argue that someone with a master key did it, this closed room can be broken easily. However, the number of keys that can open this door is limited, and since it's clearly known who has them, using that argument means I would be suspecting someone I know well. In fact, have I just been averting my eyes from the truth? Even while attacking that closed room trick in the chapel, which was exhilarating to destroy, I proposed that someone stole the key from Maria's handbag and returned it. If that theory is right, then the question becomes who could have stolen the key from her handbag? Maria's handbag was probably most unguarded while she slept. In that case, in addition to me, George Aniki and Jessica are also suspects. So George Aniki or Jessica is the culprit? Or maybe an accomplice? All of our parents have been killed, right? And yet, one of us consented to that and assisted with the crime? We all lamented, mourned, shed tears together in the chapel, and yet one among us, was lying. No, that is something that we have to consider. I truly believe, because, yeah, if we're gonna go with this train of thought, the culprit has to be somebody who actually get into that handbag. Sorry, I was having a stroke there. That means it's somebody that was close to Maria while she slept. It could have been one of the other kids. Kinda doubt it was Jessica, but possibility of her being an accomplice who also, the culprit needed to get rid of her. Maybe it's working like that.
そなたの例の手下げから抜き出し戻したという説は19人目の来客であるわらわを疑うことで彼らに疑いをかけずに済む。ならばジェシカの部屋の施錠はどうする？わらわは魔法で鍵を開けることは造作もないが、さすがにマスターキーは持たぬ。わらわの魔法を否定するならば、わらわを疑うことも否定せねばならんぞ。
Yeah, honestly, we gotta continue to have Beatrice out of the picture here.
そしてそれはつまり、そなたら18人の中の誰かを疑うことよ。
親切にありがとうよ。少し整理できたぜ。俺にとっての目的は、人間である19人目の来客、ベアトリーチェがどうやって犯行に及んだかに迫ることだ。
Is that the goal?
そうすれば。
疑い放題よ。なのにお前はわざわざそれらを全て否定し、自分で密室を作ってしまった。わかるか？
No, not really.
これはお前の思考的矛盾が生み出した密室なのよ。
Yeah, it really isn't. It just kind of became a room that was just locked away at the very end. It was never necessarily closed. People can get in and people can get out and lock it.
他の誰でもない。そなた自身が扉を閉ざしているのだ。
魔女が魔法で開けたことを認めるか、俺の知る誰かが犯人であることを認めるかの二択だって言いたいんだな。くそ。大手飛車取りのつもりかよ。
Damn it, I really wish it was as easy as I was hoping in regards to there being just a situation where maybe Jessica or Kanun or whoever just locked the door before they closed the door.
こういう差し手もあると披露したかったまで。さて、どうする？後宮バトラー。
Yeah, I have no idea what Battler could have up his sleeve here. This one is a little complicated here because it brings in this whole moral complication with actually suspecting either a family member or more so a servant.
あの自意識過剰な料理男と死に損ないのクソババアをちょいと生贄に仕立て上げるだけじゃない。
くそ。幸田さんと熊沢さんを疑えばそれでいいのか？
No, not really.
ダメだ。俺は幸田さんが犯人だとは思えない。熊沢さんが犯人だとは思えない。だがお前は認めない。絶対だ。
ならば魔法もマスターキーも使わずにこの部屋に入り、ジェシカとカノンを殺し、しかもカノンの死体を魔法を使わずに消失させねばならない。
Yeah, there's a lot of like moving pieces here.
どうやって行う？
Honestly, how I want to believe it is that somebody followed Kanun in and got both of them while they weren't looking. Did something with Kanun's body, but how was the door locked?
わらわを否定しつつ、誰も疑わずにどうやって行うのか。
Could it be a situation of maybe Kanun had Goda's key? And Goda doesn't realize that he doesn't have his key on him right now, maybe? Or I guess I could go with any of the servants. Maybe they're lending their keys. Something small is going on here that could explain a whole lot. Well, what do you got for us in story, Battler? Oh, okay.
バトラ君、今なんて？
降参だよ。俺はカノン君にこの扉が施錠できないことは証明できた。だからといってジェシカを誰が殺したのかを特定できたわけじゃない。
It's very similar to episode 1's second Twilight killing, where Ava and Hideyoshi, it was hard to really discern how they got into that room. Because it was a sealed room. It was a closed-off room because of that chain. Sometimes you just gotta accept that we just don't have the necessary information. We gotta move on.
礼なんかいらねえ。それはつまりシャノンちゃんも疑ってるってことなんだからよ。ローザおばさんもごめんよ。別に反抗したかったわけじゃない。俺も死にたくないし。親父たちの本当の仇を見つけ出したい。
But it's about, thinking about, going the proper process here. Don't just accuse everybody because it's the easy way out. That's gonna tear everybody apart, honestly.
悪かったぜ。
いいの、私も少し軽率だったわ。
It's kind of what fucked everything up at the end of episode 1. Just that huge distrust.
おばとおい同士、仲良くしないと。ね。
Aunt Rosa shifted the gun to one hand and held out her other. I reached out, and for the time being, we shook hands. That's the hand she smacked her own daughter with. Aunt Rosa's gaze was sharp. In order to deny the witch, she would sacrifice anyone. And that's what her eyes told me. And me? I denied the witch. But I wasn't prepared to lose anything. I was probably the one who seemed to be fighting the most, and yet the one who was most separated from reality. Oh, man. This shit hurts my brain. It's really hard to put it into words how much I'm struggling. Like, I know a lot of comments that I get. God damn, we're moving forward in time. A lot of comments that I get here in these videos and also on Discord is like, yeah, you're right. Just, fucking confusion all around. But it's like, no, I gotta keep pushing forward. Like, I'm commentating here. I have to figure this shit out. I know I'm not going to. So through to the end, I'm probably going to sound like a complete idiot. But no, like, I have to continue to, throw ideas out there, see what sticks to the wall, if even anything. It's a tough one. With Jessica's death, it became certain that the culprit was hiding somewhere nearby and that they would come for our lives if they had a chance. According to Genji-san, when tomorrow morning comes, the boat should arrive. The boat had a radio. We would probably be able to contact the police directly with that. Yeah, but now we have to get to tomorrow. All of us gathered in the parlor and decided to wait quietly until tomorrow. I proposed that we should search throughout the mansion for clues about the culprit, but Aunt Rosa rejected that, saying that if we managed to corner the culprit, or maybe provoke them, it might lead to a third murder. And that was probably the right thing to do. If a bunch of amateurs like us investigated, there's no way we would find anything. It would be wisest to focus on protecting ourselves without doing anything unnecessary and leave it to the police starting tomorrow. I know it's like really difficult. Like, you want to go out there. You want to satisfy your hunger for knowledge. You want to, clear yourself of your curiosity that you have going on here. You want that knowledge, just plain and simple as to what's going on. But no, you just got to sit quiet because there's only so much you can find out and so much you can do. We'd been tense at the beginning, but other than Aunt Rosa, most of us had spent all morning watching TV and getting bored, so our sense of danger had faded considerably, which is good and bad. When we thought about it, yeah, 6 adults certainly had been killed together in the first murder, but that made it seem like some backhanded method like poison had been used. And for the second murder, we figured those two became sacrifices because they'd been unfortunately isolated from the rest of us. From this, it was possible to imagine that the culprit wasn't a large number of adults, and that they wouldn't be capable of killing this large group gathered in the parlor all at once. Possibility that the killer is just among the 10. They can't just spring out and kill. Or could they? Right now in this parlor, there's George Aniki and me, Maria, Aunt Rosa, Genji-san, Goda-san, Shunin-san, Kumasawa-san, and then Dr. Nanjo for a total of 9 people. What? Oh, that's right, Kinzo. I was like, wait, what happened to my number 10? Furthermore, Aunt Rosa was even armed with a gun. Surely with this many people staying in the room, they wouldn't be able to touch us easily. That feeling of security, along with the passage of time, allowed us to recover from the shock of that morning bit by bit. By the way, lunchtime had just ended for us. However, it had been a canned food lunch, a far cry from the dinner last night that Goda-san had skillfully made for us. Aunt Rosa also suspected that poison may have been used in the first murder. Honestly, a huge possibility, and I don't think that was ever considered in episode 1 with that many deaths. You know, people can be killed from the inside out, and then, you know, other things can happen to them. We saw their faces in episode 1 get completely torn and everything. That could have been after they died. So here, in episode 2, they could have been poisoned and then brought to the chapel, or brought to the chapel poisoned, and then, you know, stuffed with candy and whatever else happened to them. There are a lot of possibilities of how this could have gone in a realistic sense. So we probably couldn't deny the possibility that the culprit had snuck into the kitchen during all that confusion in the morning and mixed poison in with the ingredients there. Aunt Rosa gave orders to all of us, saying that until the police came, we mustn't put anything into our mouths except safe things like canned food. Hey, keep an eye on your food and your drinks. As a cook, Goda-san must have felt very let down. Apparently eager to display his skill anyway, he said he at least wanted to grab some plates and arrange the canned food on them. At first, Aunt Rosa had been reluctant, examining each one of the plates that were brought, but she hadn't been able to find anything to complain about. And Goda's chef's pick canned food lunch combo was born. Not his greatest work, honestly, I'm sure, but it is what it is. Goda-san said something about taste being savored, not just with the tongue, but with the eyes as well. I see, it's the same canned food we ate for breakfast, but it feels like something completely different. Yeah, honestly, atmosphere and like how the food is prepared to you, that all actually does matter. Somebody that I worked with in the food industry like 10 years ago stated that food in a way is kind of like art. And honestly, yeah, I can definitely agree with that to an extent. Anyways, we will wrap it up there. I don't know what Maria wants to talk to us about, but I'm sure we'll find out next time. We're in chapter 13. Guys, I don't know how many chapters are necessarily in this episode, but I think there was like 18, 19, or 20 in episode 1. I want to say that we're making some good progress. I don't know how much more we have left here of episode 2. And honestly, I don't need to know. Not really, honestly. Like, I could know, I don't really need to know. I'm having fun trying to figure things out. When it's time for the episode to come to its wacky conclusion, you know, I'll be here ready for it, because episode 1 really just really blew my mind. But anyways, thank you for watching this one. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy.